All right, welcome back, viewers. Supreme Court is now set to take up the 2017 Unnao rape case today. In this case, a three-judge bench will be hearing the CBI's plea which challenges the Delhi High Court order that suspended the life sentence of expelled BJP leader Kuldeep Singh Sengar and then granted him bail. Now, viewers, as per the cause list, the vacation bench, which is headed by CBI Surya Kant along with Justice J.K. Maheshwari and A.G. Masi, will be examining the CBI's challenge. Now, in this case, the Central Bureau of Investigation has moved the top court against the December 23rd order of the Delhi High Court. Now, the hearing today, in fact, will determine whether the High Court's relief to Sengar stands or is put on hold by the top court. Meanwhile, the survivor has, in fact, reacted to the CBI's move in the Supreme Court. The survivor says, had the CBI acted earlier, justice would have come sooner and Sengar's bail would have been rejected. Reacting and recounting her difficult ordeal, she also says that her father was killed and the family continues to live in fear. All right, viewers, the big judgment is in fact expected today as the Supreme Court will be hearing CBI's plea which challenges the Delhi High Court's order regarding the bail given to Kuldeep Singh Sengar in the Unnao rape case. Now, viewers, the survivor here, who was in fact a teenager when this crime took place, continues to fight a lone and exhausting battle for justice. Earlier, she also alleged that the investigating officer colluded with the judge to ensure that the other side won. Now, viewers, remember the High Court, in fact, had struck down the charges under the POXCO Act, ruling that an MLA does not qualify as a public servant under the IPC. Now, Sengar, who convicted in 2019 and then sentenced to life imprisonment with a fine of Rs 25 lakh, had appealed against this conviction and sought suspension of his sentence. All right, my colleague Sabyasachi is joining me with more details on this. Sabya, the Supreme Court is set to hear the 2017 Unnao rape case today. We will be looking at the top court hearing the plea by CBI which challenges the Delhi High Court order. Give us more details on this.
Well, that's right. See, the CBI has filed a petition in the Supreme Court in context of the verdict that was given by the Delhi High Court, and the Delhi High Court had ordered for the suspension of the sentencing of accused of convict Kuldeep Singh Sengar in the rape case. Now, after the Delhi High Court had given its verdict, we had seen a strong reaction coming in from the victim and her family members, and even there have been massive protests not only across the national capital but in the other states as well. Now the CBI has filed a petition in the Supreme Court against the Delhi High Court's verdict. Now, what categorically
the Supreme Court has mentioned in the petition is that the Supreme Court,
the case of L.K. Advani. In fact, at the time when a case was registered against L.K. Advani, he was the Member of Parliament at that particular time. So the Delhi High Court says that in the POSCO Act, in the stricter POSCO Act, the category of who is exactly public servant has not been laid down, and that point has been taken advantage by the side of convict Kuldeep Singh Sengar. Now the CBI, in the petition that they have filed in the Supreme Court, the CBI had put out a reference of the case that was heard in Supreme Court where regarding L.K. Advani, and the Supreme Court has said that anybody who's a public representative does fall under the strict POSCO Act, and under these circumstances, the suspension of the sentencing should not happen, and that is the reason why the CBI has moved to the Supreme Court today. Meanwhile, the victim and her mother has reached the Supreme Court, and they are saying that they have all hope in the Supreme Court that the Supreme Court will put a stay on the decision that has been given by the Delhi High Court. Meanwhile, see, there has been a lot of war awards has been going on as well. Whereas a lot of the opposition has come out in front and have questioned questioned the central government. In fact, serious allegations also have been leveled by the victim, where the victim has said that the CBI have weakened the case. In fact, it is also important to highlight that while the case was going on in the trial court as well in the Delhi High Court, both the courts have very categorically mentioned that somewhere the IO of the CBI who was conducting the entire investigation did not do it properly, because the CBI spent a lot of time on investigating on a simultaneous case. In fact, the court also pointed out that how the charge sheet was filed extremely late, and that could have caused a massive disadvantage to the victim's case. So meanwhile, the Supreme Court is all set to hear the CBI's plea, and from the CBI side, Solicitor General Tushar Mehta will be appearing for the CBI side, and the hearing will begin soon. Back to you.
So this is what we're looking at when we talk about this hearing in Unnao rape case. But Sabir, let's also talk about the survivor here. She was gang raped when she was a minor. She tried to self-immolate her. Her father was killed. Her aunts were also killed. And now it seems Sengar being given bail and his life sentence getting suspended. The process itself has become a punishment for her.
Well, definitely. See, multiple occasions I've spoken with the victim, and the family has been completely heartbroken after the decision came in from the Delhi High Court. In fact, they have carried out protests in different locations, whether it is in front of the India Gate or in front of the Delhi High Court. They carried out protests against the decision that has been given by the Delhi High Court. And the family and the victim have been saying that there has been celebration at the residence of Kuldeep Singh Sengar, the convict, after the decision came in from the Delhi High Court. In fact, the family members also fear that there is a continuous threat to the life of the victim as well as family members, because in the past also her father was killed in police custody.
Right.
A lot of the family members have lost their life in road accidents. So under these circumstances, there is a continuous threat to her life, and that point also Ishta has been mentioned by the CBI in the petition that they have filed to the Supreme Court.
Right, Sabir. Also, these allegations are made by the survivor, as you mentioned before, as well against the CBI, that they did not take the case very seriously in the beginning.
Well, that's right. See, there has been allegation from the victim and her family members that the CBI did not take the case seriously, and they did not do proper investigation. In fact, that very point has been highlighted both the trial court as well as the Delhi High Court, that the IO of the CBI who was carrying on the investigation did not carry out the investigation properly. In fact, both the courts also mentioned that how the charge sheet was filed in this case quite late, and how the CBI was also investigating a simultaneous case which was related to this matter, and have spent enough time on that particular case.
So all these facts could have possibly caused a delay and also caused a disadvantage to the victim's case.
Right, Sabir. Also, the case here, the fact that Kuldeep Singh Sengar is an ex-BJP MLA, comes with a lot of money, comes with a lot of political influence. Today, the verdict will also highlight, whether the wheels of justice will move quickly and in the favor of the survivor, or also we're looking at a scene where the balance sort of tilts towards power and money.
Well, that's right. The POSCO Act, under which Kuldeep Singh Sengar, the convict, has been sentenced to life imprisonment. Now, the Delhi High Court says that since he has served around 7 years in prison, and the public servant, the point public servant, does not clearly mention that who are the people who falls under the public servant category, and the MLA or the MP has not been mentioned, and that is the reason why Kuldeep Singh Sengar and his side could take advantage of this loophole. And this very point has been mentioned by the victim as well as the social activist Yogita Bhayana, who has been with her from very day one, stating that there has been procedural lapses which Kuldeep Sengar's side has taken advantage of. Meanwhile, that very point the CBI also has challenged in the Supreme Court, stating that, reminding the Supreme Court that in one of the case which the Supreme Court was hearing against LK Advani at that particular time, he was a public representative and it was a case of corruption. So under these circumstances, same logic should also be applied to the case of convict Kuldeep Singh Sengar. And very importantly, Ishita, the CBI also had mentioned that this could have a very negative impact as far as the mental health of the victim and her family members are concerned. And there is a continuous threat to the life of the victim and her family members as well.
Which is what they have been highlighting as well. They continue to raise their voice, saying that their life is under threat at this moment. Now, I also want to talk about the fact that, with the Delhi High Court's order, Kuldeep Singh Sengar had a very good chance of walking freely, because in the other case where he is given a 10-year sentence, he's already completed over 7 years.
Well, that's right. See, that is the reason why the court has granted that the cancellation of the life sentencing, and they have granted him a bail. Though the fact that Kuldeep Singh Sengar still remains in jail because of the other cases that is still going on. Meanwhile, the Delhi court has highlighted that under these circumstances, the stringent act of the POSCO law cannot be imposed, because under these circumstances, on the stringent law, there is a sentencing of around 20 years. Now, since the MLA at the time, he was the Vidhayak, so at that particular time when he committed the crime, that particular MLA or the MP does not fall under the POSCO Act, and that is the reason why the court had granted him bail. And that very point the CBI has challenged in the Supreme Court. They have also given a reference of the case of LK Advani, stating that if under these circumstances an MP or a MLA falls under the POSCO Act, then under these circumstances Kuldeep Singh Sengar should also be considered, and that very point will be highlighted in the courts today. And from CBI side, it will be Solicitor General Tushar Mehta who would be appearing from the CBI side today.